Hi everyone, we are live at Silicon Slopes. I'm your host with Nasdaq, Kristina Ayanian. I'm joined here today with CEO and President of FileShadow, Tyrone Pike. Tyrone, thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Can you give us a little background on FileShadow?
Yes, FileShadow is involved with the worldwide problem of protecting the content you have. And we have been doing this for 6.5 years. We're in 137 countries. And we're out collecting things from phones, tablets, Macs, PCs, Androids, iPhones. It's across the board. And what we find from across the board is people are very worried about losing their content. Younger people are worried about their older people losing content, so they're now going back and talking to their families and saying, let's figure out ways to collect all this. And then older people are saying, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all this information, to my kids and my grandkids and all that. We also have gone up market and we serve photographers, we serve medical groups. Turns out that the imagery for medical groups is really hard to keep at their fingertips, and it actually slows down the speed at which people do operations. So that was kind of a aha. And then we are further up into larger corporations and how they manage content. But it all started with the idea that an individual needs to protect their content, and they can never find their content. We also collect things from all their email. So the email, for some people, turns out to be the way they store files. And so that's kind of what FileShadow is. Protect your content and then collect it and then publish it to permitted parties.
Yeah, and at Silicon Slopes, there's a common theme of community and leveraging that community to really make lasting impact and positive change in the world. How does that relate to FileShadow? How do you use that community aspect to create that change?
Well, community has been kind of the core evolution for us. And community could be as small as a family or a family extended group, but it also comes down to people who are pursuing individual things in sport, in activities that are found here in Silicon Slopes. You see a lot of beautiful mountains and all that, so the outdoor life is getting chronicled, and they need to protect that and then share it with all the people that are interested in that.
Can you elaborate a little more on the principles that guide FileShadow today?
Well, the thing that people came to us with was the fear of losing their content. So the first thing we had to do was make sure that everything was secure, and that it was put in a truly secure vault. And then the next thing was to make it really easy to get to that content, because most people would tell you, I can't find that. I can't find that document. I can't find that particular image of grandmother at the lake in '67. That's the kind of thing.
And what's ahead? What does the future of this industry look like?
Well, we've been kind of shocked in this last while, because everything that we build comes from a customer. And the customer said, well, what we're really missing is we need to annotate all these files and videos and all, and we need to be able to put in a voiceover or get information from Uncle Buzz, who needs to tell us about why that boat flipped over in this picture. So annotation, voice annotation, has now become a core feature. Any file we put into our system can be annotated, and it can be annotated by multiple people. And so, again, back to your question of community, if the community is a family that lives in 12 states, could you actually find a way to be able to share their content in a way that they can annotate it across all of those 12 states?
How do you get there, especially with what's happening in the economy right now?
Well, the economy is always a big concern. You have to say, okay, does the market still exist? Well, the fear of losing content is so great that even the downturns that we're seeing, here's a rather strange admission. We were stunned by how many people in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, India, Malaysia, were deathly afraid of losing all their content from either their government or from other people. So we built our thing so it could actually be a service that runs in all those countries. So we have been fortunate because there has not been a fear is a very, very compelling force.
Especially in this technology age too.
Exactly. So that's what was really happened for us. If I was to say, the more conventional side of it, we have to take a hard look at making sure the value that we provide is there. When we do things in the medical arena, it turns out that you've probably heard of a phrase called EMRs, which is an electronic medical record. They're not easy to get to, and so when doctors actually do imaging and put things into EMRs, they don't always have immediate access to them. So it turns out the medical practice groups that we're working with now need to have a secure vault that they can actually see all that imagery so that they can then do their. And I was really shocked to learn that when they don't have access to the imagery, then they don't actually commence with the operating.
Wow.
Okay, so an operating theater, when it's lying fallow and no one's using it, a lot of money is being spent. So those are kind of oddball things as we go up the market. You find that secure content management really matters. It falls into a category called digital asset management for them.
It's interesting because you're a technology company, but you service a diverse all industries.
Yes.
And so you've really marked yourself as that.
Yeah. We're very fortunate. And we put it out there. We think about the market as a big triangle. We started kind of one notch above the bottom. Not a consumer probably isn't our target, but one step up as a prosumer. And then families. Families are really interesting. And then as you go up, practice groups, photographers that have several people. And then as you wander up further into medical practice groups. In our past life as a company, we actually did things way up here for large investment banks and law firms. So it's kind of interesting to get back down to the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to continue following the story. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, everyone.